Oli, where do you all need to go with Pallante to get into a spot where it looks a little more competitive early in games here?
Man, a lot of it's up to him, right? You look at that game, if you're going to lead the league in ground balls and you're not getting outs on ground balls, that leaves you in a really tough position, and that's what he lives by. So that first inning is a decent amount of that. They get him for a homer as well, and then he gives you a couple of scoreless. But at the end of the day, man, there's a lot that you're taking into consideration. What's best for him? What else you have underneath? So you look at what the league has done against them, especially as of late. There's some real adjustments. If you look at righties, how they're attacking them, lefties, the attacking, I mean, guys are a lot more uphill against them, less on the ground, and that's what gives them success. So as the league's making adjustments, I think we talk about this a lot on the other side of the baseball where hitters get figured out and then they have to make an adjustment and flip the script. There's no different for our pitchers. Like, the league is making a real adjustment against them, and he's having a hard time combating it, but he lives off of contact. And when those don't lead to outs, especially on the ground like that first inning, he's left in a really tough position.
When you all are weighing out and looking at those variables, are you at the point yet where you have to consider whether it tips and doing something different with him here for the last month?
What would that be?
It could be a change of the rotation, it could be a change of role, it could be whatever it needs to be. There's a lot of innings, you could find a way to give him a break. There are a lot of ways to look at this.
Sure.
Is that where you're at with this right now?
I think I led with that, right? I said we have to take a look and figure out what's best for him, but also take into consideration all the other variables of what we have below and what that would look like. So it's more than just, there's more moving parts to it for sure. Yeah.
We talked about the depth in AAA or lack thereof all season. That's why both you and Dusty were so intentional with how you used the
Sure.
starters in the first half. With that in mind, what is best for Andre Pallante right now?
Yeah, I think I'd like to communicate that with the staff and player before the world. So we'll sit down tomorrow and review everything and make a decision on next steps. But to answer that tonight wouldn't be the best. Yeah.
What does he need to do to get the ball off the barrel? The barrel rate's twice of what it was last season. Is that just
No, that's the adjustment I'm talking about. When you look at the attack angle, especially against lefties, I mean, you're looking at a real adjustment across the league of what that average looks like. To keep it simple, it's a lot more uphill, and that doesn't benefit him whatsoever. So the league has made an adjustment. So when you look at what's going to give him success in order to get that back to where we want, he's going to have to spin it a lot more, and that means he's going to have to be consistent with his spin in order for that four-seamer and cut to kind of play the way it played early. So there's adjustments to be made, and he's got to be mentally tough enough to endure some of the crap that goes with learning on the fly. So it's not easy. I agree it hasn't looked good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it has. It hasn't, and we have to figure out what's next.
How do you just see Gorman with another loud ball, 450?
He's done a nice job, man. I'm proud of the work being put in and that he's been consistent with just his approach and how he's gone about his day as far as what leads into each at-bat. The plate discipline, controlling the strike zone. We're seeing something. This is the thing, like today it may not look like it on paper as far as Mason's day, but there's certain things he's doing as well, and it's no different than what Gorman did over a month ago with making small adjustments and tightening certain things up that led to future success that Mason's going through right now that I think is going to lead to some real progress. So there's small things like that don't show up in the game, but in conversation and how he's talking through some of those at-bats give you a pretty good indication as to where it's headed. So I'm excited about that. But yes, to answer your question, Gorman did a nice job.
Alex, we can touch back on Pallante, which you mentioned with the mental toughness and kind of enduring that. How have you seen him kind of handle that aspect of the season?
Yeah, he's had positives and negatives to how he's handled some of that. I think we've seen him kind of go through periods where when it doesn't go his way, he still kind of grinds through it, and then there's times where it's beat him, and he doesn't recover well. So I think we've seen both sides of it, and we'd like to see more of him grinding through it when things don't go his way, but it's part of being a big leaguer, man. Yeah.
We we got to do in Wilson, obviously, this afternoon. You all have a sense of what the timing and process and stuff looks like?
I don't. My thought is we'll probably hear something by tomorrow morning, and then go from there. Yeah.